Two endings hit me in one night: my life and my marriage. I remember walking into the house that night feeling like gravity had doubled. My legs felt heavy, my chest felt tight, and every step sounded louder than it should have. I just left the hospital parking lot after sitting in my car for an hour, staring at the steering wheel while the doctor's words looped in my mind like a broken recording. It's advanced. It's aggressive. We can slow it down, but we can't stop it. Terminal. Months. Maybe a little more if I responded well. Maybe less if I didn't. I kept practicing the same sentence the whole drive home, turning the words over and over in my mouth without speaking them out loud. I have terminal cancer. Even thinking it felt wrong, like the phrase belonged to someone older, someone who'd lived a full life, not someone who still felt 30 on the inside. I practiced it like I was about to give a speech because I knew if I didn't rehearse every single syllable, I'd never manage to say it at all. When I walked into the kitchen, my wife was already sitting at the island. She wasn't scrolling her phone like usual. She wasn't sipping tea or playing with her hair or humming under her breath. She was just sitting there, perfectly still, staring at her hands like they were someone else's. Something about the way she looked made my stomach drop. She had that expression people get when they're running through something over and over in their head, trying to convince themselves to finally say it. I set my keys on the counter and tried to sound steady. "Hey, we need to talk." She didn't even let me finish. Her face crumpled instantly, like a dam breaking in fast forward. Tears filled her eyes within seconds, and she covered her mouth with her hand like she'd accidentally dropped a secret she'd tried so hard to hold in. "I need to tell you something," she whispered, her voice shaking so violently I almost didn't recognize it. "And I don't know how to say it. I don't know how you'll react. I don't even know how I let this happen." I froze. The doctor's words were still echoing in my head. My heart was beating too fast. For a moment, a brief, hopeful, stupid moment, I thought she'd somehow found out about the cancer. I thought maybe the universe had spared me from having to say it myself. I had no idea the universe had prepared something else entirely. She took a breath that sounded like it scraped her lungs on the way out. "I've been having an affair." I didn't move, didn't blink, didn't even breathe. I think. My mind simply stopped. Her words didn't register in order. They crashed into me all at once, chaotic and sharp like broken glass hitting the floor. But she wasn't done. She kept talking in this frantic, panicked rush, like if she stopped for even a second, she'd implode. It wasn't supposed to be anything. I don't know how it happened. It started after we had that big fight in March. I felt so alone, and you were so distant, and I was stupid, and I didn't mean for it to get this far. Every sentence was worse than the last, but I still felt nothing. Numbness washed over me so thick I couldn't even process the sting. It wasn't shock anymore. It was like my body hit a kill switch to keep me alive through the impact. She took another breath, a long, shaking, terrified inhale, and then she whispered the part that finally broke something in me. "I'm pregnant." The ringing in my ears roared so loudly I almost didn't hear the next part. "And the baby isn't yours." I blinked. That's all I could manage. One slow blink. She started sobbing, babbling explanations I couldn't even follow. I didn't want it to happen. I didn't know how to tell you. I kept putting it off because I didn't want to ruin your life. I was scared. I didn't know what you'd do. I didn't know what to do with my hands. I didn't know what to do with any part of me. The sentence she'd just said repeated itself in my head like a violent echo. "The baby isn't yours." I walked to the sink because my legs were shaking. I pretended to need water, but I just needed something to hold on to. The faucet roared to life, drowning out her voice for a second, giving me a breath of silence. Behind me she cried, "Please say something." So I did, but not the words she expected. "I have cancer." The crying stopped instantly. Silence punched the air out of the room. "I have terminal cancer," I continued. They gave me months, not long ones. She stared at me like her brain couldn't translate the sentence. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Then, suddenly, she collapsed onto the floor, sobbing so loudly it echoed in the kitchen. "I didn't know," she cried. "Oh my God, I didn't know." Of course she didn't. She was too busy with someone else. She covered her face with both hands and rocked back and forth on the floor like the truth physically hurt. Maybe it did. Maybe that was the first honest pain she'd felt in months. I leaned against the counter, gripping the edge so hard my fingers hurt. I didn't know whether to scream, cry, or just walk out the door and never return, but all I could do was stand there staring at the woman I thought I knew, kneeling on our tile floor, shaking like the world had ended. "I'm so sorry," she sobbed. "I didn't know you were sick. I didn't know. If I had known, I would have... I don't know what I would have done, but not this. Not this." The words hit wrong. Not cruelly, just hollow. She wasn't saying, "I shouldn't have done it." She was saying, "I wouldn't have told you." Then she crawled toward me on her knees, reaching for my hand. "Please, let me help you. Let me take care of you. Let me fix something. Anything." I stepped back. She froze mid-reach like I'd slapped her. "I can't," I said quietly. "Not right now. Maybe not ever." She covered her mouth again as another sob tore out of her throat. She kept whispering, "I'm sorry," like repetition could rewind time. I stood there choking on two different types of grief, the kind that comes when your body betrays you, and the kind that comes when someone you trusted does. Two different deaths announced in one night. She finally asked, in the smallest voice I've ever heard from her, "What happens next? What do we do?" We. That word hit me harder than the cancer did. I shook my head slowly. "I don't know." She started listing things, solutions, promises, bargains. "I'll quit my job. I'll leave him. I'll raise the baby alone. I'll do therapy. I'll do whatever you want. Just don't leave. Not like this." And then I understood. She wasn't trying to save me. She was trying to save her image of herself. She didn't want to become the wife who cheated on her dying husband. She wanted to rewrite the narrative before the ending arrived. But my story wasn't her redemption arc. "I need time," I said. "I need space. I can't stay here tonight." She shook her head violently, panic rising again. "No, please, don't walk out like this. Don't leave me alone with this. Please, please." But she wasn't the one who had been left alone for months. That had been me. I packed a bag slowly, not because I needed time, but because my hands wouldn't stop shaking. A toothbrush, 2 shirts, sweatpants, my prescription bottles. It looked like I was packing for a weekend trip, not for the beginning of whatever came next. She stood in the hallway, arms wrapped around herself, crying softly. "We can fix this," she whispered every few seconds, like a spell that wasn't working. "We can fix this. We can fix this." But some things aren't broken. They're ruined. When I walked past her to leave, she grabbed my arm. Not forcefully, just desperately. "Please don't go through this alone," she begged. "Let me be with you. Let me take care of you. You can hate me. Just don't shut me out." I gently pulled my arm away. "You already shut me out," I said. "I just didn't see it until now." She covered her mouth and sobbed again. But I couldn't stay. I couldn't breathe in that house anymore. Everything felt tainted. The counters we cooked on, the couch we watched movies on, the bed we slept in. It all felt like it belonged to another version of us, one that didn't exist anymore. I opened the door. "Please," she whispered behind me, voice breaking. "I need you." But the truth was simple. She needed forgiveness. I needed peace, and only one of us was going to get what they needed tonight. I walked to my car. The air felt colder than usual. When I sat inside, I finally exhaled, and it came out shaky and painful, like I'd been holding my breath since the hospital. I drove to my brother's place. He opened the door in pajama pants, eyes confused but concerned. "What happened?" he asked, even though he already knew from my face that something catastrophic had happened. "I just need somewhere to stay," I said. "For a while." He didn't ask questions. He didn't press. He just stepped aside, pulled me into a hug, and said, "You're safe here." It was the first time all day I believed it. I slept in the guest room, though sleep is generous. I mostly stared at the ceiling in the dark, listening to the house settle, trying to wrap my head around how fast everything had collapsed. 2 endings on the same night, 2 worlds crumbling at once, and somehow I was still breathing. The next morning, my phone buzzed over and over. Texts, missed calls, voicemails, all from her. I didn't open any of them at first. I just let the screen light up my pillow, glow fading each time before another message arrived. After an hour, curiosity finally cracked through the numbness. Her messages were frantic, apologetic, broken. "Please, let me talk to you. I can't believe what I did. I want to be there for you. I'll never forgive myself if you shut me out. Please, I'm begging you." Part of me felt sorry for her. She was terrified, pregnant, alone with consequences she never expected to face. But another part of me, the part that had been walking around with a terminal sentence in his pocket, knew sympathy didn't mean reconciliation. She wanted comfort. I needed clarity. I finally texted back, "I need space. I'll reach out when I'm ready." That was all I could handle. Over the next few days, things slowly settled. Not emotionally, just logistically. I told my job. I scheduled more appointments. I explained things to my parents. My brother helped with everything without letting me feel like a burden. As for my wife, she sent long messages every night, each one more desperate than the last. Apologies, promises, reflections, regrets. She said she'd left the other man, said she was going to raise the baby alone, said she didn't care what anyone thought, she just wanted to support me. But wanting to be there and deserving to be there aren't the same thing. I started thinking about what my final months should look like. Quiet mornings, simple days, family dinners, talking, laughing, breathing, not drowning in constant emotional chaos. I thought about forgiveness, not for her sake, but for mine. Maybe someday I'd reach a point where the betrayal didn't sting as sharply. Maybe I'd even be able to look back without bitterness. But forgiveness doesn't mean letting someone back into your life. Not always. She took something from me long before cancer did. She took the belief that my last chapter would be written with the person I trusted most. And now, my story isn't over yet. But the version that included her ended on that kitchen floor. I don't know how long I have, but whatever it is, I'm going to choose peace. I'm going to choose honesty. I'm going to choose the people who stayed faithful, not the one who split my heart open the same night I needed her the most. 2 truths met in one room that night. I came home ready to say I was dying. She told me our marriage had died first, and everything after that was just learning how to breathe again.